Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Mark Schlesinger. I am the head of partnerships for the Americas at Orange Business Services. And today we're going to be visiting with Samuel Nchinda, the Vice President of Solutions for the Americas at Orange Business Services, and Kumar Ramachandran, the Senior Vice President of Product at SASE and Associated Products. We welcome both of you here today. Just to get things kicked off, the plan for today will be to walk through several questions. But first, it is our pleasure to have Kumar with us. He brings a wealth of experience to the conversation today based upon some of his history in the industry. Happily, we're proud to acknowledge that Kumar was also the founder and CEO of CloudGenix prior to being acquired by Palo Alto Networks in April of last year. So again, welcome, Kumar. It's really great to have you with us today.
It's great to be here.
The agenda that we're going to be covering is going to focus around three particular topics. They're highlighted here for your reference. We're going to talk a little bit about the advantages of SASE and what it actually brings to the enterprise. We're going to talk about what to look for in a partnership when engaging in SASE solutions. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the evolution of SASE and what may be coming as part of that evolution in the future. So we have a very robust agenda today, and I think you'll find the discussion quite insightful. Before we get started, however, I wanted to cover a couple of housekeeping items with everyone. First of all, we're happy to take questions from the audience at the end of our session today, depending upon how much time we have left. You can post those questions in the question tab on the right-hand side of your screen. Only the presenters and myself will be able to view those questions. And of course, there's a chat box, and we welcome you to go ahead and share any comments or feedback you'd like to with the participants in today's webinar. We always enjoy getting feedback from those who are with us, so I encourage you to do so. With that said, I thought it was important we take a quick minute just to level set what we are going to be talking about when we're talking about SASE. As many of you probably already know, SASE was a term that I think was coined by Gartner to talk about the convergence of network connectivity and security services. And what we have done in partnering with our strategic partner, Palo Alto Networks, is created an integrated solution that delivers these capabilities using the best of breed products that Palo Alto Networks has in their portfolio, along with the innovation and vast experience that Orange Business Services has in delivering global solutions based upon our heritage as a service provider. As you see in the slide in front of you, we quickly talk about all the things that come together to form what we are calling our integrated solution or SASE solution with Palo Alto Networks, taking everything from firewall as a service, CASB, zero trust, network access, and cloud in conjunction with the solution that CloudGenix brought to the family in April, which is now Prisma SD-WAN. And we put those into a nice operational fold that we then execute on in delivering on a worldwide basis, focusing on the core areas of improvement around performance, consistency around compliance and delivery and execution, and overall delivering a improved and also consistent end user experience. So it's all about delivering better business outcomes for our customers and our customers' customers. So with that, I want to go ahead and jump right into our conversation today, and we'll kick things off. Kumar, maybe I'll start with you if that's okay. You could share some of your thoughts around what you believe the advantages are that SASE brings to the enterprise So much is going on right now with all of the return to work activities and the challenges that businesses are facing with the new norm. I think there's plenty to talk about here. So I hand over to you.
Hey, first off, really glad to be here and have a chance to talk to everyone. If I take you back to last year, right, April 21st of last year, that was my first day at Palo Alto Networks. I'd spent 7 years along with my team building CloudGenX into a great SD-WAN company. And we were acquired by Palo Alto Networks. But although April 21st of 2020 was my first day at Palo Alto Networks, I didn't step into the office till 15 months later. And so all the integration and everything that had to happen happened remotely, happened over Zoom calls or phone calls and other mechanisms. The reason I say that is that I think the world changed on us in a highly compressed manner. I think all the forces that we see that are impacting business, impacting IT, impacting security, they were in place, but they were happening at a slower pace, right? At the pace of that normal changes happen in our industry. And what we've really seen is that in 10 months, we've now seen 10 years worth of change. As some parts of the world now come out cautiously, if you will, into a more post-pandemic work environment, what has become very clear is that the future of work is hybrid, right? Where for most organizations, what we're doing is ensuring that people can choose to work some days at home, go into the office other days, and really have a true hybrid environment. Simultaneously, what we saw was that the pandemic put immense pressure on the digitization and cloud efforts of organizations. It really shone a torchlight on those efforts and accelerated them. There was a pretty funny meme that was doing its rounds on LinkedIn that I saw the other day, which said, what accelerated digital efforts in your organization? CEO, CIO, pandemic. And most of the people chose pandemic. And I think, whether it's retail needing to react and respond to the pandemic, and all other verticals, manufacturing, finance, everybody has had to accelerate transformation of digitization and cloud. So when you put the two big forces together, hybrid work with a digital cloud first environment, what becomes very clear is that the old model of IT, where we built a perimeter in our data center, built out a hub and spoke model for infrastructure, that is disappearing very fast. We really need to solve for a model where the user does not go to a location to gain security, to gain network, to gain incredible user experience, but those three, great security, a great network, and great user experiences, they have to follow the user, right? The user has become the center of the universe. Rather, the data center being the hub, the user is now the hub, fluidly working from home, working from the road, or going into the office. And that's really the genesis for SASE, right? How do we ensure that we can deliver network, security, and incredible user experience as a service to all users, irrespective of which application they're accessing and irrespective of where they are? So let me just pause there and send the mic around the horn.
Sam, any comments from you?
Yeah, thanks. Thank you very much, Mark. And hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening to everyone. And Kuma, it's always great to share the stage with you. We have such a wonderful partnership. And of course, we always have incredible dialogue when we do get together and have these discussions. So you've actually given me a softball here because you've covered most of the great business benefits or why we need to do SASE. So I got the easy task here just to complement what you started on. So as you were indicating, sort of what the pandemic forced all of us to become is really what forced all of us to do was to accelerate our transformations. So we were forced, first of all, within the first month, and then that continued over the past 18 months to all become digital enterprises. And so SASE is definitely one of those fundamental enablers for every enterprise that seeking to go digital. And I'll talk about some of the business benefits. One of the first business benefits that I see is around simplicity. SASE allows us to simplify the architecture, the overall architecture of an enterprise. And with simplification, of course, comes great cost savings. So that's definitely the first one out there. The second one I'll talk to is around the improved end user experience, the performance gains we have by delivering SASE solutions, SASE architectures to every enterprise. With that move to SASE, we basically transform the network architectures to be more cloud-based, as you were saying earlier, Kuma. And as we transform those architectures to be more cloud-based and internet-centric, we are delivering direct connectivity from the end user, or the customers, or the partners, directly to where the applications reside, and no longer hairpinning from data center to data center. We're going directly to our SaaS applications. We're going directly into Salesforce. We're going directly to our cloud applications. So we have the improved performance and end user experience as we deliver these SASE architectures and solutions. Also, by this move to SASE, we improve the resilience. We improve the resilience every enterprise requires as they transform their underlying architecture, and as we are all so highly dependent on our digital enterprise. That's one thing certainly the pandemic taught us, is that the dependency of every single enterprise in every single vertical is so high on our technology platforms. And probably a couple more, and then I'll hand it back to you, Kumar and Mark, is around diminishing risk. SASE allows us, especially with the technologies that we get from Palo Alto, and we'll talk about that a little bit more, allows us to deliver zero trust to the enterprise. By delivering zero trust to the enterprise, we eliminate the risk, the risk that we have with the increased exposures, with all of us working remote, all of us working from home, on the move, etc. The increased threat landscapes that we have out there, we diminish risk with zero trust. And the final thing I'll just add, and I think Mark and Kuma, you both mentioned, is around end user experience. We differentiate with end user experience. As enterprises, we are successful by delivering improved end user experience to both our customers and our internal users. And SASE allows us, with the visibility, the analytics, and really the technologies that Palo Alto has built into the technology, it allows us to deliver the visibility that is required to understand what is happening with the end user, what are the threats that are existing, and so we can deliver that improved end user experience. So for me, those are some of the key benefits of for enterprises choosing to move to this SASE, down this SASE journey.
So Sam, we truly have reached the point where we have network and security at the edge. No matter whether or not we're talking about a home worker or a mobile worker or your office worker now, that is consistent and delivers a great user experience with all the benefits that you and Kumar just highlighted a few minutes ago. So that's
absolutely,
that's great.
Absolutely. And really, as you said, security cannot be an afterthought. Security has to be pervasive. And again, with SASE and the solutions that we deliver, combined Palo Alto and Orange, security is central to everything. And so it's really something that is highly important as we bring together the connectivity and the security component in a pervasive manner.
Thanks, Sam. Kumar, anything else to add?
Yeah, I think what Sam said is very, very insightful, right? Because in this transformation, right, what happened really is that the traditional perimeter, the traditional model of security, it's given way to saying, how do I connect all my users to all my applications anywhere they are with the same consistent full stack security model, right? And being able to provide it in a narrow manner, whether we call it zero trust or anything else, is such a critical component of it. So what it has really meant, right, for many enterprises is that how do I create a security model that when the user is in the branch accessing applications, the user is from home or the user is on the road, I have the same set of policies, I have the same full stack of security being applied across the board. So the old model of having a hub and spoke clearly doesn't scale, right? Because either you're going to artificially trombone your traffic back to your data center, resulting in poor user experience, poor performance, etc., or you're going to make compromises, right? I was sitting on a call the other day where people were trying to do a recording of some kind, and then someone said, oh, I need to turn my VPN off to get better performance. That's an example where if you're going to compromise between security and usability, then you put both at risk, right? So what we've seen now is that there is a very clear need for three things. One, have a consistent security architecture and model for all users, all applications, anywhere. Two, truly have it as a highly distributed service, right? And then three, secure all applications. I think there's been a move in the industry, rightfully so, towards web, right? Your web-based applications, cloud-based applications, they're definitely dominant. At the same time, we actually analyzed about 500 plus of our customers, and what we found is that close to 50% of the threats or new threats that are hitting them are actually for non-web applications, right? So you cannot just secure your web applications and then leave the front door open, right? You have all your windows closed and then your front door is open. You truly have to secure all your applications in a very, very resilient manner. So when we think about SASE, one of the founding pillars really is saying, how do I deliver security that is consistent across all these locations, has a strong policy set, and is able to be delivered as a massively distributed service across the board. And that's where things like Prisma Access from Palo Alto, cloud-delivered security solutions become so important.
That's great. Thank you, Kumar. So maybe we'll head on over to our second topic for the day. I think that's a reasonable transition period for us. And this topic is really about what to look for in a partner. We worked very hard over the last 16 or so months to collaborate and create a partnership between Orange Business Services and Palo Alto Networks. And I think there's a lot that went into that is important for the enterprise to take a look at and evaluate before making a decision to engage in sessions. I have to admit a little bit of a sneak preview. I had the privilege of looking at, or listening to rather, the podcast that you and Sam put together recently, and I had to do a little bit of homework because you mentioned Dutton Mariner and the boat car, and I said to myself, well, that's probably a pretty good lead into this topic because I didn't know about the boat car, number one, and number two, I really think that has a little bit to do with finding the right partner and making sure that you have the right components to deliver a comprehensive solution that focuses on the end user experience and brings all of the consistency that you just talked about to bear. So, Sam, I kind of hit Kumar with the first question. Maybe I had to start with you this time, even though I pulled the boat car thing up from some of his commentary. I'll give him some time to think about it. Your thoughts about partners and what to look for when engaging in SASE solutions?
Okay, thanks a lot, Mark. And I'll stay away from the boat car analogy. I must say I did go Google it afterwards as well because it was new to me, but I learned something there. So yeah, in terms of sort of what our advice, our recommendations in terms of selecting a partner, my view is that for every enterprise going down the SASE path, for me, it's a journey. It's a journey that would do together with your partner, your technology partner. And for me, the start for this SASE journey is actually choosing the best integrated technology, choosing the best SD-WAN capabilities, choosing the best security stack, choosing the best integration. So it really shouldn't be point products, but really choosing the best integrated solutions that are capable of dealing with SASE. So for me, that is the starting point of the journey. Then moving on is on that journey is a planning phase. We need to plan. We need to look at our user community, our partner community, and our customer community, and kind of work out what are the use cases for each of those communities. Is it work from home? Is it hybrid? Is it in the office? Is it on the move? Is it coming from an external source to the enterprise? So it's looking at all those use cases and actually defining a mode of transformation for each of those use cases. So that's the planning stage. Then the next stage is actually once we've selected the right technology, we have a plan, we need to go execute. And so we really need to figure out how we transform from our existing fragmented environments to the new SASE, the target solution that we're trying to reach, we're trying to get to. And that transformation is complex. So it's to choose the right partner with a sufficient level of experience, with a global capability, with the know-how to help accompany the enterprise, each of you, through that transformation journey. And once you've got there is operations. We need to make sure as we deliver the solution, and when we have delivered the solution, that we are monitoring it continuously and we're delivering the visibility and the end user experience and the quality of service that is required. So we have to make sure that we really have that 24/7 operations to deliver the service to the end user. And finally, continuous improvement. The SASE journey never stops. We need to always look at how we could improve that end user experience, how we could make it faster and better, how we can bring innovation to continuously allow the enterprise to improve, get better, and have that end user be always delighted working for the enterprise and actually being productive. So those are some of the things that I would be looking out for in selecting a partner down SASE. Of course, Kuma, I'm really curious to hear what you would have to say in terms of that partner selection.
Sam, as usual, you're extremely eloquent and deep on these topics. So maybe I'll, to be able to add something useful to what Sam said, maybe I'll give a couple customer examples, right, and their journeys with SASE. So I'll take maybe two examples, right? One that started from a security, zero trust, hybrid work model, and then one from a more SD-WAN centric model. Someone like Providence Healthcare, right? They're headquartered out in Seattle, and they have close to 51 hospitals, 829 clinics, etc. When the pandemic came about, they were, of course, faced with they have 100,000 employees, a large number of employees needing a fluid hybrid work environment, because as you can imagine, doctors do need to be in the hospital. At the same time, we've seen that a lot of the back office operations, people do need to be able to work from home in that environment. So they were able to collapse 3 different older VPN-based solutions into Prisma Access with Palo Alto networks, right? A massive migration of a very large amount of user population in a highly regulated industry where security, compliance, privacy, all of which are very important. And they had to do it in a very compressed time frame, and they had to deliver great user experiences. So when they were able to engage with us, what we were able to do was bring to bear our experiences doing this kind of a transformation for several customers. So definitely from a partner perspective, make sure the partner has experience doing this before, Make sure the partners that you're engaging with, they work closely with their vendors, right? That there is strong alignment so that you can actually be confident that the service delivery, the deployment, all of that can happen very well. And in the end, you do have to be able to look at user experience. One of the things we've done as part of our SASE offer is we natively embed what we call autonomous digital experience management. That's a lot of words to say that we're able to proactively monitor the end user experience and provide deep insights into why and when it goes bad. So for instance, I'm sitting at my house right now. If there is some problem with my Zoom call, or I'm on this webinar, so I'm not testing out my other applications, but my synthetics, there are synthetic tests going on in the background, which can say that, you know what, my Office 365 or my Gmail or my GCP or my Salesforce.com application is starting to suffer poor performance. And then it further breaks it down. Is it because my laptop is running hot? Is it because I'm sitting in a part of my house where the Wi-Fi signal strength is not strong enough? Is there a problem with my local home broadband connection? Because all those issues, they need to be self-solved, right? Internally here at Palo Alto, we went from about 50 to 100 branch offices to about 10,000 home offices. So if you're a CIO Navin Zutshi, all of a sudden you scaled out by 100x, 200x. We're not going to be layering that volume of headcount if people are opening up trouble tickets against it. What is critical is to be able to enable the end user, especially for home use case, to be able to self-serve certain issues without needing to loop IT in the mix every single time. And then second, for things that IT does have to react and respond, we now have tooling that allows SLA monitoring, SLA management of your cloud providers, etc. And that's where partnerships like this, wherein OBS is able to provide that level of monitoring and deep SLA management, becomes very, very helpful. The second example I'd love to give is of Chipotle, right? Where in a pre-pandemic, my daughter, she and her team, they play volleyball in high school. And if you have a bunch of hungry girls after playing their matches, winning or losing, you definitely don't want to get in the way of hangry girls or hangry people and their food. So we used to go to one of our favorite things to do was to go to a local Chipotle, point at the ingredients, get our burritos, and then wolf them down. When the pandemic struck, that model became not the only model, right? We wanted third-party ordering. We wanted phone ordering. We wanted home delivery. We wanted touchless delivery options. All that puts a huge amount of pressure on that Chipotle restaurant, right? And the way that they have to had to transform that was to say, how do we get this high capacity network delivered to our restaurants? We can access all our applications. It's always on with great user experience. So we worked and partnered out with them to be able to deliver our Prisma SD-WAN solution, which is a building block of our SASE solution, to all their locations. And again, you're making a high-speed deployment across 3,000 or so locations, making sure that partners that have deep expertise, understand the environment, understand the customer migration, becomes very, very important. So when you look at SASE, right, and the three big components, there's cloud-delivered security, whether zero trust, firewalling as a service, CASB, etc. You have network component, which is SD-WAN, making sure your branch has access to all the services it needs, and then user experience management, making sure that all of this works really well together to deliver a delightful user experience. So, looking at these customer examples, hopefully it's clear that it helps tremendously to have partners that are not only focused on the product, but they understand that the people and the process pieces, people, process, product, the three P's of successful project management, all of those are truly considered and embedded into the solution.
Yeah, thanks, Kuma. And again, our partnership just works so well as we're both so focused on the customer, taking the technologies and platforms that you deliver with the tools that provide the visibility and the analytics, combining that with the managed services, the global managed services capabilities of Orange, our collective experiences in actually delivering such complex transformations and continuing to serve our customers continuously, that definitely makes for a successful partnership with our customers to deliver on this SASE journey.
And we couldn't be more excited about the journey that we're presently on, which I think is a good way for us to transition into our next topic. I couldn't have been happier to hear you touch on two topics. And that one was innovation and how important innovation is to both of us culturally and as part of our relationship. We focus very hard on looking forward and delivering innovation to our customers through our collective solutions. One of the many reasons we came together was just that. And then the end user experience, and of course, all the things that are going on with that. I love the AME stuff. I haven't figured out how to remember the acronym totally yet, but I'm on board with the concept. And so having that insight, having the information that is generated from that type of analytics is incredibly powerful. And so, we talked prior to the call, Kumar, one of the things we had discussed was, well, what comes after SASE? And you made me pause for a minute and said, hey, Mark, SASE is brand new. So let's talk about what may be evolving from SASE. And so one of the takeaways I sat back and thought about was this analytic concept. And so maybe one of the things you would think is coming out of the SASE experience is around data and what to do with all this incredibly powerful data and how that's going to look in 5 or 10 years, when we're looking at maybe the next generation of SASE 2.0. But, your thoughts, Kumar?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with everything you just said. So, if I take a step back and just ask myself, what are the core tenets? Because you always build on those, right? The core grounding principles of what a great SASE solution is. And, we laid out 3 for ourselves. The very first is that we committed to making sure that we are only using best of breed components in the building of our SASE, right? Because oftentimes as a vendor, it's very easy to get tempted into saying, oh, if I have a quote unquote complete solution, it's okay if the components are mediocre, right? Because customers will consume it because I have all pieces of the puzzle. It's all coming from one vendor. We took the opposite approach. We said, yes, there is a huge amount of value that we can deliver to our customers by making sure 1 + 1 greater than 2, but let's not compromise any of the individual components. Let's start with best of breed security, best of breed SD-WAN, best of breed visibility or DEM, digital experience management, and then bring them together. So in fact, the car boat or the mariner analogy, it was born from that thinking, right? Where back when the car boat was invented, I think someone really took a very mediocre car and a mediocre boat and thought that combining the two is a good idea. And it turned out the combination does much poorer in water and doesn't hold its own on the road. So it gets relegated to a small niche in touristy areas by the harbor where people maybe after a couple of years want to experiment with life. But in all other cases, I think there is tremendous value in starting with best of breed components, right? And so, which is why when you look at CloudGenix SD-WAN, it's a Magic Quadrant leader among various other accolades. You look at Palo Alto security stack for 15 years. It's been recognized as an industry leader, the absolute leader in its Magic Quadrant. You look at the digital experience management capability that we acquired and then built on, visionary in the Magic Quadrant there. And then we keep investing very significantly in continuing to extend our lead in the individual components. Then the second big area is really around saying, how do we take advantage of data and to ensure that we're giving significantly superior security outcomes for our customers, right? I know that AI and ML have become very buzzword bingo-y in our industry. Here's the outcome, right? In the end, ML or data science, it's a tool. And what our customers care about are the outcomes. for our customers, 95% of new threats are now stopped in its track by using AI and ML technologies. What does it mean for our customers? It means that there is no delay, lag, no finding out, hey, what is the signature, propagating the signature. In line, in real time, we're stopping those threats based on a pattern identification and our data science-based algorithms. And then for the remaining 5%, extremely advanced mechanisms, including wildfire and advanced URL filtering, etc., come into play. The other thing is we've made sure that 100% of all traffic is secure, right? Oftentimes in enterprises, we see things sanctioned IT applications, whether it's file sharing, SMB, etc., and there's still unsanctioned IT applications that are non-web based. Making sure that the architecture allows for a full stack security inspection makes a massive amount of difference. And that leads me to what else can you do with the data, right? We find ourselves in a position now where we're able to, for the very first time in the history of IT, able to get full context on what's happening network, application, and security for the mobile user, the home user, and the branch user, all in one massively distributed and scalable cloud data lake. It was a dream in IT to be able to do it. For the very first time, we've done that. And then we are investing now very aggressively in multiple areas against delivering value to our customers using that data, right? Whether it's the security outcomes that we spoke about, whether it's the digital user experience management outcomes, and some of the other areas we are working on are about automating our network operations, automating TAC, automating support, etc. Because for the last 20, 30 years of IT, we've always assumed that a lot of manual interventions are involved. What we are doing is we're truly moving to a model of autonomous IT and security, where the system can auto-correct and auto-solve for a whole bunch of things, right? So I do think the SASE transformation can be extremely powerful and compelling for customers, and which is why in most of my customer meetings, right, I do encourage customers that, hey, jump on the SASE journey. There's somewhere about a little over half our customers that purchased SD-WAN last quarter. They went all in on the SASE journey, SD-WAN, Prisma Access, user experience management. And then the other half, they like to get started with either the network or the security component and then expand. So engaging with a partner like OBS, who can handhold you and give you guidance and help you through that journey and further not just simplify the journey, but actually bring a lot of the experience they have in helping customers in their digital transformation, in their zero trust transformation, in the hybrid work transformation. You can gain from the experience of others. I always like to believe that in the end, when you do great things, all of us will make mistakes. The trick is to make new mistakes, not old ones.
Very wise, Kumar. Sam, your
Yeah, just to add to a couple of things that Kumar said there. Fully agree with Kumar. So central to every enterprise, to each of us today, is the data. All the data that we're seeking to utilize, leverage, enable, deliver outcomes. So central to that, all of that is the data, and an enabler to all of this data is really the sort of four fundamental shifts, paradigms which have emerged over the past few years. First one, of course, cloud native. Second is security and zero trust, end user experience, and hyperconnectivity. So basically, how I see the SASE journey moving ahead is actually unlocking all these four, or actually bringing these four paradigms together, bringing cloud native with zero trust cybersecurity, with end user experience and hyperconnectivity, bringing all of this together to enable the digital enterprise to move at speed and at scale. I think that's what we all require. And really, the pandemic showed us sort of what is required for all of our digital enterprises. We need to be able to move at speed. We need to be able to move at scale. These four enablers, which SASE is built upon, allows us to do that. So again, I'm really excited about the journey ahead. The journey ahead with our customers, and embarking or already in the middle of the SASE journey, and the partnership Palo Alto and Orange that we will deliver together to our customers.
No, thanks, Sam. I think that's very insightful too. You know, the bringing together all of those elements to deliver business value for the enterprise, digital business value to the enterprise, I think is very compelling. And I think part of that is going to come from the analytics and the experience and all the things that we've talked about today so far. Listen, we're coming up on time here, but we do have time for at least one question. And I've been monitoring the question tab during our conversation here today, and I want to thank Lisa for her question, because I think it's a very, very good one. And so maybe I'll start with you with this question, and it's a very simple, straightforward question. Is SASE an all or nothing value proposition? Do we have to go with both security and network to deliver on a comprehensive solution, and or not? I think is really what the question is. Sam, maybe.
Yeah. My view is like all life's journeys, and okay, this one is an accelerated journey. It's not the starting point, and then maybe even the finishing point is not exactly the same for every enterprise. So it's definitely not all or nothing. Is for each enterprise to determine what is the business goal, what are we trying to achieve, what's our starting point, and from there map out our individual journey. So the starting point could be we need to enhance our security posture based on our organizations now being at 10,000 locations at homes and not just within offices. So that may be the starting point. The starting point may be the need to take care of increased regulation. The starting point may be to enhance the end user experience or the customer experience in interacting with us. So we each have those different starting points. We each have different business objectives, and based on that, we map out our own journeys, and we take the components that are required for us to meet our business objectives. So definitely not all or nothing, definitely a different journey for each enterprise. Kumar, what are your thoughts?
I agree. I think we see two big kinds of projects, right? We see the hybrid work, what I'll call the hybrid work project, where people are saying, hey, I have a large population of users now working from home, and then they're coming back into the branch office too. So how do I ensure that they have zero trust based security and access to all their applications? So those projects tend to start from security, right? Prisma access based solutions here. And then we also see this network transformation leading the way in the branch, right? Whereas, especially as some parts of the world, people are cautiously and in some cases more aggressively coming back to the branch, saying, hey, let me transform my branch office. Let me put in place a very powerful solution that allows me to not be dependent on my data center, but fluidly access all applications. So you see either projects starting from the security side or from the network side. And then, like I said, especially on the network side, we're seeing 50% of the projects be all encompassing, right? Where the customer says, okay, hybrid work is it's not just work from home, it's not just work from branch, it's both. So I do need to set up my security model to be cloud delivered. Let me set up my SD-WAN model to be application centric for the branch office. And that's where having a SASE solution here from Palo Alto Networks that actually integrates both is very helpful. So yes, you can start individually, but you can also go all in. It really depends what is the start point for your project. And that's where a partner like OBS can guide you and help you.
Yeah, and similar to yourself, Kumar, I love stories. So one of our recent very large customers, their business need was they had planned out growth, very rapid growth over the next 3 years. A lot of it by mergers and acquisitions, significant part of it organic. And so they were looking at how could I move at speed and scale? How could I bring diverse organizations together in a secure manner? How could I continue to deliver good end user experience? And how could I grow at speed? And again, the SASE solution jointly developed by Palo Alto and Orange allows us to do that, allows organizations to grow rapidly, allows organizations to merge in a secure manner, and allows organizations really to cater for the diverse end user workforce that they have, while delivering their business objectives, which is to double the revenue growth over the next 3 years. So another case study in which we were able to deliver a SASE solution between Orange and Palo Alto that enabled their business objectives. You're on mute, Mark.
Yes, I am. I'm on mute. It's about time for us to wrap up today, but before we do, Kumar, I thought I'd leave the floor to you for any last minute comments you'd like to share. Haha.
Yeah, you're not singular in hoping that your powers transcend the mute on Zoom. But I think the time for SASE for most organizations is here and now, right? If you're architecting for hybrid work, you're architecting for digital and cloud, and you're trying to make sure that your users have tremendous positive experiences while accessing all their applications, SASE is the right model. So you can get started either by a security-centric approach. You can get started with a network-centric approach, or you can do both. The important thing is to get started, right? One of my very good friends and customers, a person called John Spiegel, he used to work at Columbia Sportswear, and he used to say that if you don't get started this year, you'll be a year too late next. I think that's probably true of the SASE journey, and we're here to help, right? I think our job between OBS and Palo Alto Networks is to truly take a consultative approach and help our customers rapidly make some of the transitions that are knocking on their doors.
Thanks, Kumar. Sam, your thoughts to close us out?
That was a perfect ending. It's here and now, and we're certainly here to help. We're certainly here to help enterprises meet their business objectives. So please reach out to Orange and Palo Alto, and we will work with you to map out the journey, and we will be with you along every step of that journey.
So before we close, allow me to say on behalf of Orange Business Services, Kumar, it has been a pleasure having you with us today. We always enjoy having the opportunity to speak with you. So thank you very much for making time for us and for our webinar. And Sam stole all my thunder on our call to action today. Please reach out if you want to know more about SASE. We are very excited to talk about it. We've gone ahead and posted a link to learn more about SASE. You'll see that in the chat box that was just posted a few minutes ago. Also, of course, reach out to the Palo Alto team or to the Orange Business Services team. We're happy to continue those conversations with you. On a personal note, I am really excited about working together to further our partnership. I think we're on a great track. We're on a good trajectory. We have some really exciting momentum behind us, and I can speak on behalf of the business. We're thrilled to be working with you. So again, Kumar, thanks so much. Sam, I love working with you guys, so thanks for making time for us too. And with that, I will close out our call today. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Thank you very much.